Welcome to Between Takes, where we explore the craft of acting beyond the frame. I'm your host, Daniel Shepard, and today's guest is actor William Scott Brown, whose compelling work in Somewhere in Montana centers on deeply personal dialogue combined with subtle yet powerful performance. We'll talk about process, perspective, and what it means to serve the story when the camera is and is not rolling. Bill,
Morning,
welcome
Dan.
to the show.
Good morning.
I'd like to start with my first question because you play a pivotal supporting role in Somewhere in Montana. What is it that first drew you to this project, and what was it that made you say yes to this particular story?
It was interesting. I was back and forth from New York to the West Coast, helping my brother with my mom's elderly care, and I happened to be on the West Coast. And my agent on the West Coast had been submitting me for some film and TV, and so this came in Somewhere in Montana, and I was lucky enough to get a copy of the script with the invitation to audition. It was a self-tape originally, and I read this script, and I was just, it was unbelievable. It was one of the best written scripts I'd read in a long time. Very, very well written, extremely well written, and it just touched me deeply. The whole storyline, these characters, these are two characters from total opposite positions in life that are brought together in an almost impossible situation that they have to work out through getting to know each other, compassion, understanding, tolerance, and I just couldn't put it down, and I kept reading it. And so anyway, I had a call back, and it was a live Zoom session, and it went well. And I heard a week or two later that I had been offered the role of Pastor Dan, and I was thrilled, of course. And then the whole project was put on hold for a year. It was a low budget independent feature, and it started to grow wings, so to speak, because they managed to entice an actor by the name of Graham McTavish, who you might know from Outlander and the Hobbit movies and Spartacus. He's just a great guy. My scenes were with Graham. And once he read the script, apparently absolutely loved it. Same with supporting lead Michelle Hurd, all of which, once they read this script, they wanted to be a part of this project. And it's absolutely understandable why. It's just one of the best written films, and it's so timely right now with what's going on in the world. So,
Without giving too much away, let's talk about your role in the film of Pastor Dan. What was the most challenging and rewarding part of inhabiting him or creating the character? Was there anything about this role that asked something new of you or challenged you as an actor?
yeah, that's an interesting question. This character, growing up in the Catholic Church and being around the clergy, obviously that was easier for me to understand possibly who this character was. Pastor Dan is a childhood friend of Graham's character John, and so they have history. I found that I had to go to a place where this character was, recognizing the history of them, but also maintaining his professional status as the well-respected town pastor. He I had to approach this role in a kind of a focus and a centeredness that gave him strength and command, as well as compassion and understanding. And this character really tried to counsel John in my scenes. And as far as challenges go, the director, Brandon Smith and Graham really made this easy for me to be on set with both, because the tone is so important. The tone that is set on a film from the top down, from the stars or from the producers, directors, whoever's on set, has such an impact on the actors, and it can affect the work that's going on. And it was just a really beautiful tone, and it felt extremely safe and comfortable to do the work. Graham couldn't have been more generous. And as far as a challenge, when you're doing an independent film, time and money and budget are the primaries, and you don't have the luxury of doing three, four, five takes. You are lucky if you get one take, two takes, and I managed to spit this out beautifully in one take. So I was pleased, but you walk off set, you don't know what it's going to look like. But there apparently wasn't a lot of editing. They just took what we did from beginning to end, and it turned out I'm very proud of the work that we did. So, but the challenge on an independent film is always you need to kind of nail those takes. There's no time for mess ups. So.
So let's take a look at one of the scenes from the movie with Bill and Graham.
Look, John, we've known each other a long time. So I'm going to say something a pastor probably shouldn't say. Now, listen, man, you've been through a lot. And I know you're not the kind of guy who likes to talk about certain things.
Then let's not.
All right, John, let's not. Let's not. Let's not talk about losing Serena, or let's not talk about Laney's injury.
It was a mistake coming here.
Or losing the ranch, John. You want to talk about that?
At its heart, the film centers around the relationship and conversations between a conservative Montana rancher and a liberal gay film director. Two people from completely different worlds. What do you think the film is really saying about acceptance?
That's the winning question here. Brandon Smith, our director and who wrote this film, he puts these two people together who are from two polar opposites of two very, very different worlds. You've got the young liberal gay director. You've got the conservative, most likely Republican, conservative rancher, and they just completely don't understand each other at all from the get-go. And without giving too much away, Graham's character John finds himself in a position where he's mourning the loss of his deceased wife, but it's been going on for a couple of years. He's having a lot of trouble moving on. He's losing his ranch. And so his daughter pushes him to have this Hollywood film crew come in and film this movie on the property of his massive ranch, cattle ranch. So it's the making of a film inside this film. And boy, you see the struggle that goes on when two people that don't understand each other, don't accept each other. And what's so beautiful about this film is the writing from beginning to end. I know that both Graham and Michelle, our two stars, both have commented on how the way the story is told and the writing just grabbed them. And what I can say is, we tend to, the analogy of judging a book by its cover, we tend to judge people, or we see a certain look to somebody, or we judge a liberal or a conservative we judge a book. We don't open up the book and take time to read the book or to read the person, find out their journey, their history, find out who they are in their hearts. And this is what beautifully plays out and is so beautifully written in this particular film. And it's just definitely a timely piece when we are living in a time with so much division and misunderstanding. It's just a great film that brings your heart to a place of acceptance, tolerance, and understanding. So I hope that's clear.
With this film, its theme feels extremely relevant now. How do you think audiences might receive the story today differently than that they might have a few years ago?
You'd have to go way back before this administration, before the Biden administration, before the first Trump administration, and at least I would, and think, how would someone respond to this film back then. And I just think it hits a raw nerve and in the human condition and in every human being, no matter how jaded or dark a particular person or soul might be. Everyone has the capability of compassion and understanding, and so I think it's timely, but I think it's also timeless, because I think it would have played just as powerful back years ago, but it's just so much more relevant right now with what's going on in the world and in this country with all the division. So I hope that answers your question.
Bill, it's been a pleasure interviewing you today. I have one final question. Looking back on this project, what has stayed with you the longest from the story? Is it the people or the experience itself?
I came in as a guest actor. I came in for 2 days, and this team of actors and crew, producers, directors, they'd been working for months and continue to work on this film. And I was accepted. I was brought in and felt like, part of the family, to the extent that someone could, that's coming in for a couple of days to put down some work. But what's happened is the aftermath of this film and the promoting of the film took on a whole different experience for me, and making friends, cast members that I never imagined I would be friends with. We put together, I helped to initiate a screening of this film here on the West Coast in Palm Springs at the Mary Pickford Theater. We had a full house and was able to be on stage with Michelle Hurd and do a Q&A. And the theater loved the movie, ran it for an extended period after that. Somewhere in Montana is a good place to be.
I don't forget. Every moment, every day. God, I miss that woman.
Where are we? Montana. This one location is holding up our entire shoot. Your ranch, it's such a nice fit.
I just don't trust this guy. This is a working ranch, Laney. It's not an amusement park.
If we can make this deal work out, then we can survive until next year.
Welcome to my ranch.
Trust me, John. Trust your daughter.